And yet another reason last night why in the NBA it ain't over until it's officially over when the clock strikes zero. Another great game last night. That's where we start the show this morning. Unbelievable ending to the Raptors Celtics game. As Toronto guys right back in this series, 104-103, about as close as you can get. That's your final. Here is OG Anunoby and Jaylen Brown after the game.
Hey OG, maybe a stupid question. Just watching, like you showed no emotion after you hit the shot. Like how did you stay so cool after such a big play?
Oh, like because when I shot, I expected to make it. So like I don't shoot trying to miss. Like every shot I shoot, I try to make it. So I was not surprised because I wasn't surprised.
We were matched up, and OG snuck along the baseline, didn't recognize him early enough, and he got a wide open look. We got to be better than that. We got to communicate better. And, just me being, 4 years in, I got to be better. Can't give up a three at the end of the game. They made a remarkable shot still. But it's a disgrace. It's terrible. No excuse for it at all. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. So can't take your foot off the gas at all. We got to be ready to play game 4.
Jaylen Brown with that accountability there. Nick, I'll start with you. Was that buzzer beater by OG more of a great play by the Raptors or a breakdown by the Boston Celtics?
Can I choose both? Because it was a spectacular play by the Raptors.
Yeah.
But that was an indefensible mistake by the Celtics. And I know it's very early across America right now, but can you hear that? It's the slightest faint sound. That's the heartbeat of what looked like a dead champion slightly, maybe, possibly coming back to life. This was as close as you could possibly have to being done. Half second, down 2, gonna be down 3-0 in the series. Good night, good luck. Celtics 7-0 to start the playoffs. The massive favorites to not only win this series, but the favorites in the East. And now, all of a sudden, Game 4 becomes the turn game in the series. And so how does it happen? Well, it happens because Kyle Lowry makes a 99 out of 100 degree of difficulty pass and makes it perfectly. But it also happens because the Celtics defended this play like they were up 1. They defended this play like a 2 beat them instead of a 2 just forcing overtime where they would have been the favorites because they have proven to be the better team in this series. The only thing you can't let happen there, the only thing is an open 3 where a guy can get it off in he got that off in 0.3. Didn't even need the full 0.5. So it is a spectacular play by Lowry, a spectacular play by OG Anunoby. 2 guys, by the way, both who played 45 minutes last night. Little note to Mike Budenholzer for tonight with Giannis. But it is a breakdown by the Celtics, Brandon, and it's one... I'm not going to say it flipped the series, but the series was over, and now it's not, Brandon.
I disagree with you. This was an amazing play by the Raptors. It was all about the Raptors. When in defense, you know this. You have less than a half a second in the game. You have one of the freakish all-time centers in the paint. You protect the paint. You got Gasol in the paint. You have to protect the paint. That's the #1 responsibility. If the ball's on the front side, backside defender has to protect the block and the paint. That's exactly what they did. Jaylen Brown, phenomenal job getting out there. I'm surprised he even got that close. I know he's being hard on himself. Jenna, you talked about accountability, but Jaylen Brown, there was nothing you could do. They had a great call. You have Lowry take the ball out, throw it over a 7'10", it seems like, taco. Yeah. Like there's nothing they could do. So Wiles, I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, I think it was a great call. It was a great play by Kyle Lowry. The defense had to do exactly what they did, and that was protect the paint.
Yeah, I thought Jaylen was a little hard on himself. Like, if you're going to lose on an amazing shot, like, so be it. But I love Jaylen's passion. The other thing, Nick, if we're talking about the other series, this shows why you have your court general throw the ball in. So, like, I know we're this little Monday morning quarterback, but, like, that's why I would have Chris Paul take the ball
for OKC?
We just saw it. That wasn't the play. Like, people are like, oh, what a brilliant play. Like, that's Lowry making a call, like basically calling an audible, seeing how it plays out, and throwing the ball across court.
And that's the Wilds. That's the difference.
Go ahead.
Wilds, I'll let you finish, but you got Nick Nurse out there and Brad Stevens engaged in a high-level chess match, and Billy Donovan's over here playing Connect Four. I mean, that's the difference. Like, and so that is where, like, coaching really matters. And so I agree with you 1,000%. Go ahead.
Again, I don't want to derail it, but it got worse when I saw the new quote from Russ that we didn't get into the show yesterday. When Russ like, yeah, I knew that play. It's like, Billy Donovan, you're drawing up plays that Russ knows. Like, what are you doing? So that's your 48-hour-old take on Rockets Thunder if you needed it. Go ahead, Jenna.
Brandon, how deflating was the play for this series now? If you're the Celtics, I mean, we saw Jaylen Brown and how emotional he was afterwards, but are the Raptors really right back in this, or who's in the driver's seat right now in this series after a play that momentous?
Well, you know who I'm going to say. It's the Celtics. I said it in December, and I'm going to continue to remind you guys. This is 9 months out. I picked this team, and they should be proud of themselves. They played hard, but they just didn't get it done. It really had nothing to do with the last couple seconds. The last couple of minutes, I really feel like they stood up as champions and really dominated this basketball game. When you have things like this happen, you just got to tip your hat to them and say, good job. Nick, I still believe in the Celtics. The Raptors showed some amazing things last night. Van Vliet, the first series, he was probably the most efficient player in the entire bubble. But the last 2 games, he's been non-existent. So that's the only chance they have. If Van Vliet can continue to find the bottom of the basket, they may have a chance. But the Celtics is going to win this series.
Well, listen, I think the Celtics are still in control. And while I didn't pick the Celtics anywhere close to back in December, before the playoffs and before this series, I picked them to make the conference finals. So I'll stick with that. But I do need to remind the audience, these series can flip fast. The Celtics last year won their first 5 games of the postseason, and then all of a sudden lost 4 in a row, and their season is done. Last year, the Milwaukee Bucks are up 2-0 on these Raptors. Game 3 is in double overtime, a chance to put them away. They lose that game, and they don't win another game in that series. They end up losing 4-2. The series Wilds was just talking about. The Rockets are up 2-0. They're in Game 3, up 5 with a minute left. They blow it, and all of a sudden we're in a Game 7, and it's coming down to the final shot. So I still believe the Celtics are the favorites. But now we have a real series. And the idea that when you don't have to play any road games, that you can't come back from 2-0 down, the bubble has already shown us that these series can flip. We've seen a 3-1 series flip. We saw a 2-0 series almost flip if Billy Donovan doesn't call a play that Russ knows and throws it to Steven Adams. Like it is just, if you're the Celtics, you've got to, Brandon, you've got to immediately be able to get out of your head, we had this series won. Because if it bleeds over, Brandon, into Game 4, then that's when you start worrying about them being in real trouble and the Raptors trying to hold on to that defending champion title for another few days.
It's over. It's over. The Raptors, they don't have Kawhi anymore, Nick. Who's that guy that's going to carry them the rest of the way? They don't have that. Kyle Lowry, I mean, hats off to him. He's a phenomenal leader. He's an amazing talent. But at the end of the day, he's not enough. And Van Vliet, he can continue to find the bottom of the basket, but while that still isn't enough, this is a complete team. They're well coached, they play defense, and they have Kemba Walker. Anytime Kemba Walker gets at least 10 assists, they win every single game. So they have no chance.
All right, we'll wait and see this weekend as they get back out on the court. Hey, there's a new captain.